Cool. So yeah, I have had some Vivobarefoot shoes for some time now. These were my original first pair. I don't even remember what the name of the model is, to be honest. But this is what they look like. This is the original one that I got. It now has a hole. I've had this for about over 5 years. I wore it religiously. I used to wear the the Vibram 5 fingers before, and just kind of people used to make fun of me because the way they look. So I got these, and then from this I ended up getting the Scott, one of the earlier versions of the boot, the winter boot that they have, but that one was a disappointment because it was very expensive. It was almost $200, and the quality of it was not very good. It has the more, not like these, but a more like hexagon, but the hexagon thicker, deeper hexagons basically, that they weren't very effective because snow would get stuck in the hexagons and then they would just be very slippery. So it was, I actually fell a couple of times wearing those, and then eventually the sole just kind of wore out at the back here, so I just got rid of them. Even though the upper was fine, the sole at the bottom, had a hole, so there was water coming through and stuff. Yeah, so I just kind of put Vivobarefoot aside for a few years, and then I just kind of got back into them recently. Yeah, and then when I got back into them, I looked on the website for a while, and because they're all pretty expensive shoes, so I got this one, the Primus knit, because it kind of just fit my lifestyle. I know you can't just jump into running in Vivobarefoot shoes if you haven't been doing it for some time, so I want to just kind of get these to really walk around the city, and I live in the city. This is what they look like. These have been really great. If you're familiar with Vivobarefoot, like how it feels and stuff, obviously there's zero drop. It has sort of like a cork inner lining, but it's very thin. The sole is very thin. It really does feel like you're on the ground, basically. These feel even more so because I took the insoles out. So these are basically like you're walking on nothing. I still wear these just to do little things like around the area. I don't go very far in these anymore because they just got this hole too, like about, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. But yeah, so back, if anyone has any questions about these, let me know. I wear these a lot, almost every day, like the last 2 months. And I was kind of switching them up. Before I used to wear, regular running shoes. These are Adidas. I have some other ones over there. I think it's Reebok. But yeah, so I got these so I want to do some more hiking, and I just thought that this is more of a casual shoe, and I have hiked in it and it's been totally fine, but kind of wanted something with a little more grip, and I also didn't want to dirty these up too much. They get pretty dusty when you're on trails. They could get mushy if it's raining, so I wanted something more like this, a little rougher. So that's when I was interested in these with the specific grips, the firm ground grip here. And I also plan to wear it out and about in the city, so I didn't really know too much about what the difference between the soft ground and the firm ground, and I understand, conceptually that they're both different shoes, for different environments, but I don't really know, how the soft ground would feel in the city environment, so I didn't want to really risk it. I was between this and they had some other firm ground soles that looked interesting, but yeah, they look pretty much the same in terms of the material when you look at like what the materials are and how they can be used. But this one, seems specifically for getting wet, so I figured that would be a good. It's pretty versatile. Yeah, so if anybody has any questions about this, it is pretty flexible, but like you see, it's pretty stiff. I'm applying some force to it in order to bend it, and that's okay, I guess, for me, because I'm sure over time, it'll bend. I also ordered the Gobi for work. Just started a new job, so I wanted something that was more professional. And you know, like when you start wearing Vivobarefoot shoes, you know, these kind of minimalist shoes, it's really hard to go back to, you know, like regular dress shoes, or especially dress shoes for men, because they're very stiff and uncomfortable, you know. So I mean, it's doable, you know, if I have a special event or something, you know, I'll put on some nicer shoes. But for everyday work, you know, I'm biking to work and I'm walking around the office, you know, walking around downtown. I'll do a review of those when they show up.